track where we are deeming it the latest initiation point, and that's typically the 1 cone in the 3-2-1 cone sequence that we have at the initiation area. Then we need to maintain close proximity to the lead driver all the way through the track. We're asking for a lot from these drivers, and they're often able to give us what we're asking for. Match or better the lead driver's angle all the way through the course as well, and mimic the lead driver's transitions and line. They want to be basically a mirror of that lead driver all the way through the course.
Now, before we talk about style and what style represents this year, if you could also talk a little bit about, you know, why you guys put so much emphasis on telling the lead and the chase drivers what they can and can't do in certain situations. It's not a gimme for the lead driver, and it's not a gimme for the chase driver that they can just go and do whatever they want. Everything has consequences. So if you can work that in to what style is all about, I think that'd be very helpful.
So style this year, we're looking at fluidity and commitment. Initiation is built into them as fluidity deals with the rotation of the car on its own axis. So initiation, was it smooth? Did they rotate the car to angle quickly? Did the car look really settled and smooth throughout the entire course? The rotations and transitions, that's what we're really looking for in the fluidity side. On the commitment side, we're really looking for the drivers to initiate at the right spot and then use the vehicle's momentum and pace all the way throughout the course to fill the zones, get close to the track edges, and really make the drive look aggressive and not dangerous, but a little bit risky throughout the course. So we're really concentrating on the style portion this year and making the drivers responsible in the lead position, because so much of the drive from the chase is going to depend on what that lead driver is doing. We have to give them these responsibilities so that we can really see who's at fault when there's an error or an issue on the track, if there's collision, or if the chase driver gets messed up because the lead driver made an error maybe. So we're putting a lot of responsibility on them, but over the years they've proven that they're very capable of driving at this high level, so I think we're pretty fair in asking for what we're asking for.
Absolutely. Now, yesterday we also had a list of what we call incompletes. These are essentially zeros from the past, but let's talk about the incompletes because they are a few more for head-to-head matchups.
Yeah, so in qualifying, we only have a few. When we come to the tandem, we have the same first 3, so if the driver spins out, drifts in the opposite direction that they should be anywhere on the track, or if anything latchable opens, such as a hood, hatch, trunk, or doors. We add to that unsportsmanlike conduct on the track and also an inactive chase. So an active chase means, let's say one driver had an incomplete on the first run. When they get to the next run, the other driver thinks, you know what, I'm comfortable. He had an incomplete. I don't need to follow him really close. I'm going to sit back, relax, maybe leave a few car lengths. We're really not looking for that at all. So we want them to push hard, even if there was an incomplete in the previous run, and give us a great tandem battle.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ryan Lantain. We are about to kick off Top 32. You are watching the O'Reilly Auto Parts Streets of Long Beach, presented by Permatex, and this is the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. We'll take a quick commercial break and be right back with the Top 32.
Every one of us starts out as a
matched. Matt Kaufman in his Achilles radial vehicle, the Achilles radial Lightning fuel, and then wow, that's funny. And then Ken Gushi, a veteran of the sport, been competing now for 15 years. But Kaufman with the Ford horsepower plant under the hood of his S13. Ken Gushi, the 2J Toyota Racing Greddy Performance GT86. He is on Nexen tires. All right, so here we go. Our first official battle of the 2018 season. All right, Matt Kaufman initiates into the view of the judges, into that touch and go, into that first rear clipping zone. Matt Kaufman a lot deeper than Ken Gushi. Ken Gushi transfers back. He's now in tow as Kaufman brings it into that final clipping point, and Ken Gushi wraps it around. Ken Gushi just kind of was, I don't know, it just wasn't as tidy as I'd expect from Ken Gushi. Kaufman looks really strong out front. We'll take a look at this instant replay, and Ryan, get some points from you as well as from Ryan Lontaine.
Yeah, Jared, really interesting situation here as we'll go to the replay here shortly. It looked like Ken Gushi coming from touch and go 1 into outer zone number 1, maybe transitioned a bit early and caused himself to go offline there. And then through the hairpin, there was another little bit of a choke up there.
Yep.
So we'll have to see exactly how that plays a role into the overall scheme of things. Obviously, they will switch things up. Ken Gushi will go to the lead, and Matt Kaufman will go to the chase position.
Yeah, Kaufman, that Kaufman Racing Thunderbolt Racing Fuel Achilles Radial 240SX. Again, a Ford V8 under the hood. As they double back, feel free to put your hands together if you like what you see. Ken Gushi will now lead Kaufman. The 959 making his way back to the start line. Looks like Peter Vincik. I mean, the car is almost identical. I keep telling him, do something a little more different so it stands out. But it's smart from a logistical standpoint, matching bumpers so you can alternate them. So now Ken Gushi, Kenshiro, will be up front. He will lead as Matt Kaufman will give chase. Greddy Performance Parts, Toyota Racing. He is now on Falcon tires. I mistakenly said that. Last year he was on a different tire manufacturer. This year he's on Falcon tires, which is totally going full circle, as one of his first sponsors back in the day was on Falcon, and now he's running those Falcons again. All right. We are ready to send it. And Ken Gushi, as I said, will lead. Much more comfortable position for him. It seemed like he, as Ryan was saying, he choked up under the bridge, exiting that first outside clipping zone. How's Ken gonna fare out front? Initiating strongly. Woo! Getting all the way to that out zone, that touch and go. And now Matt Kaufman, looks like he takes a bit of a shallower line, similar to that of Ken Gushi, but he is stuck to him right there. Now coming into that final front clip. Ken Gushi and Matt Kaufman, nice job there. And Ryan, I know yesterday Ken Gushi and his team, they swapped out the transmission.
Yeah, let's take a look at this run here. You can see Gushi snappy initiation here, but right there, Kaufman sticks to him as they reach out towards that touch and go. Kaufman, smooth transition back around. You can see he doesn't follow Gushi out to that first outer zone. Pretty good lead run here by Gushi. Could have gone maybe a tiny bit deeper into that second outer zone. Kaufman kind of dives in here. So I think it's really going to come down to some of the mistakes made and the interpretation of run number 1 there. Did Gushi transition too early, and what happened at the hairpin there when he got choked up a little bit as the judges digest both runs.
All right, as both drivers wait for the outcome, one will get appointed the victor, advancing on. The winner will be going against Peter Vincik. That is pending he makes his bye run. Who out there is cheering for Ken Gushi? Where are my Ken Gushi fans at? How about Matt Kaufman? All right, well, it looks like Judge Andy says Matt Kaufman. Both the photos are the same, but that's how good Ken Gushi is. He goes against himself. And see Kaufman giving a little wave there. That wasn't, you did not go that way? All right. Well, let's bring some clarity there. How we doing out there? Seen some Inca Madness Racing hats. Seen some fans out there running some Formula Drift. Nice little Rainier hat, running it from the PNW. All right, and it is unanimous. Matt Kaufman gets the win. Matt Kaufman gets the win. And there it is. Again, it is unanimous. Matt Kaufman will advance on. He'll go against Peter Vincic in the top 16.
All right, I got that 5 run. All right, a little rough here to start, but, you know, we can get here.
All right, so there is Peter Vincic. He is on the start line. As I said, James Dean and Peter Vincic have bye runs. Peter qualified #1. Both of them had 96s. But Peter bested James Dean with a higher perfect style score. All right, so there's a bye run for Peter Vincic. It's probably a good opportunity for him to test and tune as well. But here's your #1 qualifier. Nice job by Vincic. This 2J powered S15. From Pawlak, Poland, there is your #1 qualifier, and he will advance on into the top 16, going against Matt Kaufman. Ryan, talking about Peter Vincic here again. We talked about he's the most recent winner, but that goes all the way back to last October when he won at Irwindale. But you know, what kind of things are going through Peter Vincic's head, you know, coming into his second season of Formula Drift?
You know, I have to imagine that he learned, you know, quite a bit last season, and obviously it culminated in a win for him, which was incredible. And, you know, had a great start here, #1 qualification. Sadly, having to lose that competition timeout because of whatever was going on with his vehicle. And, you know, that's not the most exciting thing to be thinking about as you go into the halftime break. But, you know, he'll battle back, and he's going to have that, you know, that top 16 matchup with Kaufman, who we just saw there against Ken Gushi. So I think he's setting himself up pretty well, and he seems highly motivated, and that's always something you want in a professional athlete.
All right. Moving on to our next battle, Ryan Tuerck versus Austin Meeks. Austin Meeks, a Formula Drift Pro rookie, making his way through Pro 2 and now into the Pro class. As Austin Meeks from South Carolina, picking up a new title sponsor. This Galp Oil, committed service brand, Achilles Radial S14.5. Ryan Tuerck will lead. Ryan Tuerck qualifying 8th compared to Austin Meeks qualifying 25th. Ryan Tuerck, a new freshened up GT86, him and Chris Forsberg. I like to call him the Bone Zone over there. But Ryan Tuerck in this gum out Toyota Racing GT86. He's on Nexen tires. Here we go. Tuerck and Meeks. Ryan Tuerck now coming into view of the judges with their naked eyes. Out to that touch and go goes Ryan Tuerck. Way off of that outside zone. Maybe playing it safe here. Allowing Austin Meeks to come and catch up to him. A lot of smoke being kicked off that 86. Whoa, Meeks almost getting in contact with the back end of that 86. Ryan.
Yeah, let's take a look at this again here, Jared. You can see kind of a straight line approach for Ryan Tuerck. Initiates, grabs some e-brake here. Starts to pull away a little bit from Meeks on the onset. Now he does a good job getting onto this touch and go, but you can see Tuerck does miss that first outer zone. And then as they come back through the second outer zone, you'll see Austin Meeks kind of dive in here towards the end, and then right here just flows through, but then it straightens out before the finish line. So big mistake there by Meeks. You got to give him some credit for trying to close the door overall, as you had a little bit of separation there. You could have capitalized on Ryan Tuerck's mistake by not getting out to outside zone #1, but that bigger mistake there towards the end will certainly have to pay a price for that.
This is where it's really going to shine and just show, I would say, the seniority that Ryan Tuerck has. But given again, you know, they've changed their team. You know, they worked with a different kind of team manager last year who operated the vehicle, but now both Forsberg and Tuerck have taken the reins by themselves, kind of managing and facilitating all of their own, you know, builds and all that, and they completely refreshed their car. So Ryan Tuerck, as we take a look at it again here, looks like judges are taking a look as they make their way through the start chicane. Don't know if there's anything in particular here that the judges are looking for. Yeah, it looks like they're really, we got Brian Eggert, Andy Yen, and Ryan Lontaine. Lontaine, if you don't mind, maybe elaborate on what you're checking out there.
Yeah, the first few players were a little late, so we had to replay it with better views, and we wanted to see how straight Meeks was at clip 1, and it looks like he dove in there on the inside of Ryan Tuerck and then had to kind of straighten up a little bit before getting back on the fall, so it was pretty super straight.
All right. So giving it some more analyzation there from the judges. Again, Andy Yen, longtime judge. I think year 14, maybe, for him. And Eggert, how many years again you've been judging? 7, and then 8 and 7. So Lontaine being a judge for 8 years. All right, here we go. So our 3 judges poised, ready to see who's gonna take the lead here and advance on to the top 16. Austin Meeks out to the touch and go. Nice job into that rear clipping zone. Makes a lot more comfortable out front, getting that clean air. Ryan Tuerck in the belly of the beast, talking about the tire smoke as Tuerck closes the door. And Ryan Tuerck, a lot of Ryans going on here, but you know, going against Austin Meeks, who he's never gone against.
Yeah, I think he had a good strategy here. I think maybe his team was a little bit nervous about this section right here because he kind of almost straightened out a little bit, but then he got right back on it. You can see he kept distance here. You know, we talk about the comfort level of driving with new drivers, and you can see Tuerck here making some adjustments. Does a pretty good job overall. We had Meeks with that big mistake in run number 1, so this should be a win here for Ryan Tuerck to move on into the top 16.
All right, so fans, some still lingering out there in the paddock as it's just a beautiful day here. I know earlier in the week, seen that in the forecast they were going to potentially see some rain today, but man, the forecast today is just beautiful. Little cloud cover, a little breeze. Here we go. Slide them left for Meeks, slide them right for Ryan Tuerck. Our 3 judges, Ryan, Andy, and Brian. And Ryan Sage, as you said, I'd have to assume they will be sliding to the right for Ryan Tuerck. And that gum out Toyota GT86, and there it is. It is unanimous. Ryan Tuerck advances on. Ryan Tuerck advances on into the top 16.
Great.
All right, so here we go, advancing on to our next battle. Yoshihara and Long Beach's own Kyle Mohan in the American Ethanol next in tires MX-5. Mazda Tricks as well. And going against Yoshihara in that turbocharged LS turn 14 distribution Falcon tires Subaru BRZ. Kyle Mohan custom making that front fender last year, kind of had a lot of poke on there, so said in this offseason going to build himself a new body kit, new front end. See how dramatic those flares are because the bright orange nose of the vehicle. So Yoshihara will lead. He qualified 9th yesterday compared to 24th of Kyle Mohan. Talking to Kyle's wife, who's also his spotter. Kyle in his first run broke an axle, but then was able to put a run together on his second run. Here we go. Yoshihara, Kyle Mohan. Yoshihara out to the touch and go, gets out there. Can he work it back into that first outer zone? See, again, a lot of those guys getting out to the touch and go. This is what we saw yesterday. This allows Kyle Mohan to gain some ground. Whoa, hanging it out there goes Mohan, but now drops into formation around that final Black Magic front clip. Woo! A lot of whiz-bang sounds coming out of those 2 vehicles.
So here we are coming down the back straight here. Nice initiation by Yoshihara. You can see swinging out to that touch and go. Nice fluid transition across, but doesn't really hit that first outer zone. And that leaves a door open here for Kyle Mohan, who starts closing it towards the inside here of this last inside clip, but then not all the way able to surge door to door there as Yoshihara comes through smoothly. So good competitive battle here on the left-hand side of our bracket. And now they'll switch things up. Jared, we'll see Dai chasing down Kyle Mohan in run number 2.
Man, just, you know, between the turbocharged V8 and then one of the lone rotaries out here in formative competition, Kyle Mohan. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here in the building. wherever you are watching this. Hashtag Formula FD, but also hashtag FDX5, Roman numeral for 15, celebrating 15 years of Formula Drift action. It started out as 4 rounds of competition, and now 8 rounds of competition this year. Debuting a new round. We've not going up to the north of the border, as we are going to the Midwest, going to St. Louis. Ryan, the advancement of Formula Drift from just 4 rounds to 8 rounds. I mean, just the progression of the sport has been pretty tremendous.
Yeah, it's been really fun, and we're super bummed to be leaving Montreal, but I think we've also been trying to get to the Midwest for a number of years, ever since we left Chicago. And we've got a great venue and a really nice time of the year. So excited to get out to St. Louis and rip it up in the Midwest. Yep,
Gateway Motorsports Park playing host to a new round of the Formula Drift Championship. Remember, download the app, see all the updates of what's going on. But right now, the update is who's going to advance on the top 16, Kyle Mohan or Yoshihara. Here goes Mohan. Strong initiation there for both the drivers. Whoa! Mohan loops it. And Mohan loops it right in front of Yoshihara, and Yoshihara counting his blessings. No contact was made, but unfortunately, that will mean that Kyle Mohan, with that incomplete run, Yoshihara in the chase position, he'll have an obvious advantage, a major advantage there. And Yoshihara will advance on.
So tough break there for Kyle, but you got to give credit where credit is due. He definitely pushed the limits there towards the touch and go. Came through there with a lot of angle, just wasn't able to hold it. Let's take a look at it one more time, Jared, here. You can see Mohan gets out of the gate pretty cleanly. Nice, fast initiation, right there. But as Mohan gets out towards his touch and go, he's got too much angle on the car, can't maintain it, swing it back around. 360s out. So Long Beach's own Kyle Mohan will be out of competition. Yoshihara moving on and continuing his own momentum after a second place finish in Irwindale. So the veteran driver, a solid start to the season so far as we move on into our next battle.
Yeah, that's right. It was wasn't a Falcon Tire sweep in Irwindale, so that was kind of a great accolade there. Yeah, what's going on? Say what's up. All right, and unfortunately now Kyle knows the outcome of what happened here, so go ahead and slide him right. And there it is. It's official. Yoshihara gets the win. He'll be going against Ryan Tuerck. So it's a similar chassis, but very similar chassis, but very different engine setup. The 86 and the BRZ. So Yoshihara will be going against Ryan Tuerck in the top 16. So we advance on to our next battle. This should be a fun one to watch. Justin Pawlak, who has just really gotten very familiar with that Ford Mustang and just progressively, and now getting Roush Performance involved and bringing back the teal and blue on the Ford Mustangs, and just looks really sharp. And then Cameron Moore, he parked his SC and built this 86 last year. He's a butcher. I mean, this dude works, literally cuts meat for a living, and then on the weekends he goes drifting. So the 2JZ built, or 2JZ Power, excuse me, 86. And also just to add how BA this guy is, the butcher, he's also from Battleground, Washington. Here we go. Justin Pawlak, originally from Kalamazoo, throws it in, gets out to that touch and go. Cameron Moore, woo, shadowed him. Nice job there by both the drivers. As they approach that final front clip, Cameron Moore maxing out that angle. That's the transition. You saw him, he lost some ground there. He lost some momentum, speed, and he had to just center that front clip. Ryan, a pretty impressive chase run there by Cameron Moore, but Justin Pawlak, flawless out front. Looks great.
Yeah, you can see Justin very comfortable in the car. He talked a lot about that's what he wanted this year, because he made just very minor adjustments to the vehicle. See there, clearing perfectly that first outer zone. Moore really pushing the proximity here, but you can see he gets caught up right there, and then when he comes back around, he's actually on an inside line where he center lines that last inside clip there. So Justin Pawlak overall, very solid lead run. He did what he needed to do as a lead driver. Cameron Moore really pushed the pace, but he did make a mistake, and maybe his over-aggressiveness coming into that last touch and go into the final inside clip.
Yeah, the butcher threw it down, but just as you said, just maxed out that angle, lost some momentum, had to center that front clip. That's going to be a deduction, but now he's going to be out front, gets that clean air. And with Justin Pawlak and Cameron Moore's pass, you know what? Where's Justin Pawlak going to land? Okay, it looks like Matt Kaufman and his team, they're working on his car. Fortunately, they have some time to get it dialed, but they're going to be going against the #1 qualifier, Peter Vincic. So yeah, again, Cameron Moore, the Cameron Moore Racing, Butcher by day. Even his race suit has a bloody apron on it. It's kind of cool. JTP and that Roush Performance Falcon tires, Ford Mustang. As Cameron Moore will be leading. All right, here the officials say sending cars. Cameron Moore will lead the 333. Justin Pawlak, lucky number 13. And here we go through the start chicane. We got a clean start. Down the chute into turn 9 of this IndyCar course. Oh man, Cameron Moore comes out blazing, taps the wall. A correction there from Moore. And unfortunately for the Butcher, Justin Pawlak brings it around, insult to injury, as the Butcher gets chopped by JTP. That will mean that Justin Pawlak, so man, just seemed that Cameron Moore initiated, he tapped that wall and then just corrected and straightened out. Ryan?
Yeah, it looks like he had to shut it down after tapping the wall. Jared, let's take a look at it here. You can see e-brake pull initiation, then shooting out towards this touch and go. He taps it, but not able to transition back around, and then shuts it down. Justin Pawlak obviously wanting to make sure that if he reinitiated, he was ready to go for drift, but it would be an incomplete at that point. So GTP, his first win of the year, and moving on into the top 16, he will face the winner of Odi Bakchis versus Dan Burkett, which is our next battle up.
All right, so as they wait, yeah, Dan Burkett, Odi Bakchis, that should be a fun one, and believe you know the outcome here, Moore and Pawlak, and slide them right, it's unanimous. JTP, Justin Pawlak, gets the victory and advances on. All right, Odi Bakchis, Dan Burkett, you can see the stats. These guys have not gone against each other. See the percentage, the horsepower. But it's a whole new season, a whole new world. As Burkett warming it up. Ryan getting the snack attack going, hyped up. Getting fully torqued on some gluten-free wafers. We're not gonna get weird like Canada. The all organic, just gonna put those wafers in front of me because I'm gonna chomp away while doing live stream, just eating cookies.
I want to go back to Canada.
Canada's great. I love Canada. I got a couple Canadian tattoos on me.
Canada loves you too, guys.
Oh, I appreciate. Yeah, I forgot our Canadian judge. I don't know what country you're from anymore. Brazil or you know, I don't know what. It's like, where in the world is Ryan Lontaine?
Proud to hold that banner.
That's good. I know. I know Eggert has FOMO when you're in Brazil eating acai bowls and running and doing all that. Do you want a gluten-free cookie there, Lontaine? These are the kind of snacks. Ryan Sage brings like $200 of all these healthy snacks. Speaking of snacks, here's the snack attack. Odi Bakchis, Dan Burkett, Radical Daniel. Odi Bakchis into the outside, touch and go. Whoa! Burkett with the earlier transition into the outer zone. Oh, Dan Burkett now gaining a lot of ground here, gaining some confidence. Oh man, sounded like we took a wrong turn here in Long Beach. Sounded like gun pops right there.
Really enjoying what I'm seeing out of Dan Burkett in terms of the aggressiveness and willing to commit here. Odi out front. Solid job from him getting out to that touch and go. Maybe just a little bit deeper he could have been. You can see Burkett right there trying to hold back to make sure he doesn't make contact as Odi hits that second outer zone. Good angle here by both guys. And then right there, Dan makes a little bit of a mistake on the inside. He kind of cuts the line a little bit, has to lock up the wheels. He did stay in drift there. And now we'll mix things up as Dan Burkett will go to the lead position. Odi Bakchis to the chase.
like Tomboy's shirt over there. It said the Sandlot. I like that Sandlot shirt you got on there, man. Like looking a little Astros throwback. All right, so Burkett, as you said, Ryan, yeah, definitely impressed from a year ago to Long Beach here last year to now. Dan Burkett just looks a lot more confident. The car looks, it just looks more settled, has more poise. And Odi Bakchis, you know, I mean, it's easy to give Odi Bakchis compliments. He has just progressed over the years from somebody I saw, you know, Vegas drift and those events to where he's at now, being a contender for a championship, finishing 3rd overall multiple years, and you know, very similar, identical car as last year, but just aesthetically adding the blister flares, adding the S15 headlights, but. Both these guys, it's just great to see these guys flourish.
Yeah, no doubt Odi Bakchis for sure is charging for a championship after that 3rd place last year. He looked phenomenal, and you have to remember, the middle part of the season, he didn't do so well.
Yeah.
And he really came back towards the end, made some adjustments, and just looked incredible and finished off the season very strong.
All right, who's going to advance on? Who's going against JTP? Dan Burkett or Odi Bakchis? Dan Burkett out to the 10. Oh, goodness gracious. Front, back, side to side. Oh, man, such a great-looking car. It's such a shame. I mean, all these cars look so great. Looks like Odi making sure he's okay. And, oh, man, not fun when you see. And Dan Burkett, great-looking car, but that's not the way you want to do body work. Make some noise for these guys, these gladiators of the sport. One of the most unforgiving tracks. You know, we start the season, off-season, you know, these guys and gals and everybody just working on these vehicles, debuting them here at Long Beach, and just an iconic track from Formula One to IndyCar and now to drifting. These walls, they bite you. And we saw it again. Take a look at this again, Ryan.
Yeah, you can see here as Dan initiates, he's really coming in with a lot of momentum. He starts to put angle in the car, but went way too deep there, and you can see the ricochet caused him to flip off and also cause damage to the front of the vehicle. So looks like he's okay. Let's take a look at it from camera up here in the judges stand right there. Actually, the back wheel also hits and then whips it around. So tough hit there for Dan, and a great job by Odi Bakchis to avoid damage of his own.
And Odi Bakchis unanimously gets the victory with Dan Burkett's unfortunate circumstance. All right, earlier in the week, we had our newest member of the Formula 2 team, Robbie Nishida, caught up with Stefan Papadakis.
All right, I'm here at Papadakis Racing, or Pizza Papadakis Racing. You all probably know about him, but he's one of the legendary drag racers, and he was a former Formula Drift driver himself, and now he's a team owner, and he built this immaculate, crazy Toyota Corolla. It's a 2019, brand new build, right?
Right, yeah.
So what's the difference between the one that you guys had last year and now?
Yep, so last year we ran the Toyota IM, and this year we built a Toyota hatchback. So Toyota came out with this, it's not out yet actually, it's a pre-production car, 2019 Toyota Corolla, and they said, hey, we've got this new car coming out, we'd love you to build it to drift. And we got the car in December last year, and we had a little over 3 months to build it. And so we just went to work all winter. We built all the cage and turned it to rear-wheel drive and all the custom suspension. I mean, it's not our first front-wheel drive to rear-wheel drive converted car, so we had some experience doing that. And so, and then we used the similar drivetrain that we've been running in the IM and before that the TC. So the 1,000 horsepower, 4-cylinder Toyota 2AR engine with turbo and nitrous.
So we're kind of here looking at the rear end of the car. I know this is originally a four-wheel drive, but to me it looks pretty much like a rear-wheel drive. But the main things I see on the suspension is like a lot of the arms are like different colors and they're all adjustable. But are these all stock or what?
Yeah, so we can't use any of the factory components because for instance, like the hub, there's no provision for an axle to go through, no way to drive the rear wheel. So we have to make a custom upright, and so we design that in-house, and then we machine actually all of that. And then all of the suspension components, like the control arms and the trailing arm, are not strong enough to handle the loads that we put out here in drifting. So we have to design and build all that stuff as well.
And you do all that.
Yeah, we do that all at the shop. I do a lot of it myself. Yeah.
And then you got 2 brake calipers. This is one for the foot brake and one for the e-brake.
Yeah.
Is that right?
So the way the brakes are set up is when the driver pushes the foot brake, it's very traditional, right? The front and rear brakes turn on, and then when they pull the handbrake, it does just the second set of rear calipers. And the reason we do that is because if you have them tied in together, and the driver's on the foot brake and then pulls the handbrake, right? You can feel it. Have you driven cars with both? Yeah. So we want to have totally separate circuits, and that way the driver can use the foot brake or the handbrake, and they all just work independently.
So this setup you have right here, you said it was really similar to what you had from last year with the IM.
So, no, on this car is very different. The suspension is very different.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So when Toyota built this new Corolla, the whole chassis is different, the geometry and everything. So we weren't able to take our old suspension and put it onto this one. We actually had to design everything from scratch again.
Okay. Well, so he had only from December, and they had to basically redesign this whole thing, the whole rear end. It's all new. It's all originally made. This is crazy. Well, here's some of the little secrets you have behind the almost 1,000 horsepower, around 1,000 horsepower four-cylinder car Papadakis Racing has. This is pretty cool.
Wow, look at Robbie. Who knew he could talk so eloquently?
Very handsome, very eloquent. Well done,
He's a married man, Ryan. Just back off. You know, Robbie, when he competed, you know, he still competes. He still competes in life. He's sitting next to me, and I'm talking to him about him right to his face. But Bushido Blade is his nickname, and I just came up with that just because, you know, he came in his open face helmet and just a adorable little guy. And now he's grown up to a grown man, and notably, Lantain pulled up a photo in the driver's meeting. He's holding a hedgehog, so his new nickname is the Hedgehog. Robbie the Hedgehog Nishida.
Good job.
Even after all these years, Ryan, just still awkward.
That's fine.
The sage is set. All right, so you can see Cal Club and the corner workers checking out the track as looks like got affected a little bit there from Burkett's hit. Lantain, you know, again, off-season, build these cars. Let's just bring them to the gnarliest track and least forgiving track possible.
Funny story about that wall hit right there. The license plate on the back of Dan Burkett's car, it said Rad Dan or Rad on it, I think.
Yeah.
It was jammed between 2 of the walls, and they couldn't get it out.
Oh, was that what was going on there?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So he got a little too rad.
He did.
He got way too rad, and what's that? You like the movie Rad? I mean, if you don't like the movie Rad, you have no soul.
Let's see if we can catch the moment when that license plate gets jammed in there.
Yeah, take a look at that. Bam. Yeah, you can see a lot of the shrapnel there, the bumpers, and Odi Bakchis is just puckering up, just going, oh boy. That could have been, again, both Dai Yoshihara and now Odi come out unscathed, and that could end a lot worse for those chase drivers. Well, Rob Nishida caught up with Stefan Papadakis, who basically engineered that vehicle. Here is the pilot, the Norwegian Hammer, Fredrik Aasbo, going against a Formula Drift rookie, Matt Vankirk. And I know Vankirk has a lot of fans here. Where are the Vankirk fans at? That's pretty strong for a Formula Drift rookie. Again, coming to us from Marysville, Washington. Then where are my Fredrik Aasbo fans at? All right, so Fredrik Aasbo, former Formula Drift champion, finishing second overall last year, a real contender in a different car, the Toyota Corolla IM, and now this Toyota Corolla hatchback, what looks very similar to the vehicle last year. It's a brand new car, brand new debut for this vehicle. This is the first time it will be seen battle, and it's going against a Formula Drift rookie that is Matt Vankirk. The Drift-O-Matic Nissan 240SX, been competing in Pro 2. In Pro-Am previous to that, I saw him out at the Southwest Drift Series event in Arizona. I saw him drift out there. I've seen him in the Pacific Northwest at Evergreen. Really made a name for himself over the years, and now here he is in Formula Drift Pro ranks going against one of the best in the world. And just a highly engineered car, Ryan, this Toyota Corolla, and what Papadakis Racing has done over the years with Tanner Faust and now Fredrik Aasbo.
Yeah, Steph has definitely made a name for himself many times over in his fabrication and vehicle build prowess. But let's get to the run at hand.
Here we go, Frederick Aasbo out front, man. Oh, Matt Vankirk. He knew he was going to need to push hard, but maybe just bit off a little more than he could chew. Going against Aasbo, look at the hot hatch just ripping into that final front clip. Vankirk does gain some ground and regain that chase position, but right out of the gate,
well,
watch
remember,
this.
We've got 2 decel areas in this track while
Here we go, Frederick Aasbo out front, man. Oh, Matt Vankirk. He knew he was going to need to push
does
hard.
make some contact. And then we have Aasbo staying in it and running through the rest of the course pretty consistently here. Vankirk gets back on it, tries to attack here towards the end, but I'm sure that the judges will be focusing most of their attention on that point of contact there, coming right after initiation. You see right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right now we have to determine if it was Matt Vankirk who got a little too aggressive coming in there and hit Aasbo, or was it Aasbo that slowed down and caused Matt Vankirk to hit him? So the little cues we're looking for here, did Aasbo get back on throttle? He had a little handbrake pull, but yeah, you can see some smoke coming out. It's an area that we deem a slowdown area. It is on the Excel decel map. We expect them to slow down initiation. We tell the drivers to get back on throttle as soon as possible. But in this case, I believe, judging from what I could see, that Matt Vankirk was just a little bit aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah, and Matt, you know, in his head, you know, his Formula Drift Pro debut, he's going against, again, the Norwegian Hammer, Frederick Aasbo, and he knows he's going to need to throw down. So, but also he wants to impress, you know, his fans and impress his family, and wants to push hard. And seemed that, you know, with the combination of, yes, as Ryan Lantain said, they are expected, or they are allowed at minimum, to slow down. So it looks like, as you see that back wheel stop, that would dictate that he did have an e-brake pull, but he is allowed to do that. All right, so the judge is elaborating on either a collision or is it contact? Because contact is allowed as long as it doesn't impede on the other driver's line and the attitude of the vehicle. But a collision would then institute somebody who was at fault. So, you know, people could put hands on the car if need be, or can inspect it. But got a little bit of downtime, and hopefully you're going to join us at Irwindale if you're local here in California, or join us at one of the many rounds. Download the app and get all the updates, live scoring alerts and stats, exclusive FD content, breaking news, notifications, access to the free live stream. So if you can't be in person, watch the free live stream. New FD fan rewards program, exclusive games, contests, special video features. So be sure to download the app, both Apple and Android. Catch the stank. Also, feel the flow with MagnaFlow. Win a free MagnaFlow exhaust. So got some downtime here, so why not text MF Drift to 555-888. It's as simple as that. You could win a MagnaFlow exhaust. Text MF as in MagnaFlow Drift to 555-888. Ryan, what's going on here? A little bit of delay. I saw the judges talking.
Yeah, well, one of the things that we have in the rule book is basically defining the difference between contact and collision. And in contact, basically, is kind of like rubbing is racing, right? It doesn't really have a major impact, but the cars are touching together. A collision, the way that it's defined in the rule book, is that if a vehicle makes contact with another vehicle and the line becomes interrupted, where there may have been damage sustained, then the driver that was made contact with, thus deeming it a collision, can inspect the vehicle to make sure that there's nothing dangerous on the car that happened after that, or if they need to make repairs. So that's what's going on now. That's why you see Frederick Aasbo off to the side, because the judges have deemed a collision as opposed to just general contact in which we would just move on.
All right, so the Vankirk is at fault. Aasbo and the Papadakis racing team can wheel to wheel. That's where a lot of the damage can be sustained. I mean, Papadakis with the Stefan was talking to Rob Nishida about that, and you know, those are all custom parts, you know, some pretty dynamic pieces there on that Toyota Corolla. So after this, we'll have Christoph Blush and Alex Hilbrun. Latvia versus Peru. And it seems that the car is still pulled off to the side. Hey, Ryan Lontaine, we are not going back to Montreal St. Eustache, which I would consider kind of the house of drift of the Great White North, but we are going to St. Louis. Have you been out to Gateway Motorsports Park yet?
No, I've not been to Gateway, but we're pretty sad about Montreal up there in Canada.
That's it. That's
Just
all
going to leave it right there.
Just leave it right there. Yeah. All right. Well, we got a few moments here. From what I understand, Frederick Aasbo, a rivet popped off the body part, so they're going to tape it and reaffix that and get it all going once again. But so while we got some downtime, let's have some words with one of the drivers debuting a new car, Matt Field.
There's been a lot of changes, a lot of new additions this year, including Matt Field's C6 Corvette. Matt, so exciting, and you told me that you're getting more and more comfortable every lap you go out there. So where's your comfort level at now?
Yeah, with every lap, we make some changes. I make changes as a driver and see what happens. And fortunately, the last lap in practice was the best lap I did all weekend, so that means we're headed in the right direction. I'm about 90% of the way there. You know, the S14 was 100 every time I drove it. Even if we weren't doing too good, I was still comfortable and confident in the car. Not necessarily the case in this, so we're taking it easy. Finally got into the wall a little bit. That shows you where the limits are. And ever since then, we've just been cleaning up our driving, making changes to the car, and getting more and more comfortable.
Okay. So do you approach this more conservatively than you would in the past?
Absolutely. The S14, I'd scrape the bumper on the wall on media day, first run out. I'm trying to not do that with this car. I don't know what's going to happen. Is it going to be 1 foot too deep, 1 inch too deep, 1 inch too short, 1 foot too short? So, like I said, every lap is better, and I don't quite have that. Don't know where it's going to wind up yet, or anymore, I would say.
Yeah, sure.
But we're getting there.
Matt, best of luck. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, Laurent. Thank you, Matt, and congratulations debuting that new car. As the confidence builds throughout the season, we'll see where Matt Field ends up and see if he'll take it to the top of the podium. All right, here's the second half of this battle. Matt Vankirk waiting patiently, and again, he was at fault for that collision. So again, the hands, but also getting hands on the car for Frederick Aasbo and the Papadakis team, but also a deficit there as far as advantage or advancement into the top 16. So Matt Vankirk will now lead. Frederick Aasbo, Norwegian Hammer, giving chase, and we have a clean start. No cones were hit, no restart. Vankirk getting wily on the streets of Long Beach. Vankirk throws it into the touch and go. Oh, and it seemed that Vankirk was way offline.